Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This video is going to be my full review on the CZ SP01 Tactical. It has been a long time since you guys have seen this gun on the channel. I think we are actually going a little bit over a year now since this has been on the channel. So I now have a little bit over 1,000 rounds through the gun. Not much has changed for me with the CZ SP01. It really is still just a phenomenal shooter. It's a very accurate gun and it's a blast at the range. I know I had a couple of hiccups in the first impressions video. I believe I had a total of 3 failures to feed. I can gladly say that none of those issues have followed into any other range days other than that first one. So I'm still a little bit unsure on why it had those issues, because now the gun just runs like a tank. It eats steel case, no issues. Any type of brass case, I've had absolutely no problems there. Now, I'm not normally on the side of thinking that every gun needs a break-in period, but there is a small chance that some of the parts on the CZ SP01 do a little bit of a better job after they've had a couple hundred rounds through them and they've gotten to smooth over. I'll definitely say that the actual slide itself has gotten quite a bit smoother now that I'm at that 1,000 round mark. Now, obviously, those were just a couple of issues and I don't really think it's anything to think too hard on. The only thing that I may be switching out on the CZ in the future is actually the grips. So I still really enjoy the rubber grips, but I think I enjoy even more the G10 grips. I've had a chance to handle a couple of those at the gun shop that I work at, and I've just really fallen in love with the G10 grips. So I think I may be switching those out soon and just seeing if I like those a little bit better. The rubber gives a good amount of traction, but I will say when my hands start to sweat, it actually starts to slip a little bit more than I would like, and I think the G10 will do a little bit of a better job at avoiding that. The trigger on the CZ SP01 Tactical is awesome. I think CZs right out of the box have great triggers. What I really enjoy about the CZ trigger is that it really cups your finger. So you can see that when I start to get my finger on the trigger, it just falls perfectly in line. You know, you don't have any dragging that you might have on some striker-fired pistols, and you don't really find your finger finding the trigger in multiple different spots while you're shooting. It just immediately falls where it should. The double action is very, very smooth. When it goes into single action, you will have a really clean, crisp reset, but it is a little bit long, so just slightly long, a little bit more take up after the reset, and then your break again. When it's in the decocked position, you'll have just a slight amount of take up and then a smooth double action pullback. I found myself actually shooting the gun in double action almost just as much as I was shooting it in single action, and that says a lot. There were a couple of times where I would just simply continue to decock it because I had no issues connecting and making hits with the double action trigger pull. I still think the CZ75 series is one of the lowest recoiling 9mm that I have ever shot. I have shot the standard 75 BD and also the standard SP01, just the non-tactical version. I've shot a couple of their steel frames, and still to this day, they always impress me with just how low the recoil is and just how low the gun sits and feels in your hand. This pistol also shows a lot of potential in the competition world. If you wanted to get into a somewhat economical first competition pistol choice, this would absolutely fill that role. The price point that these come in at is fluctuating slightly, but generally you can find them in the $500 area. And with what you're getting, I mean, it's just tough to beat. The only downfall you really might have if you're getting the SP01 Tactical as a defensive choice is just simply the weight. It is a heavy, heavy gun, so I think it kind of rules it out for concealed carry. For me, if you do have a really nice outside the waistband setup with a sturdy gun belt and you carry openly, this may be a good option for you. But as far as for inside the waistband, I think you would do much better off with one of the CZ75 compact pistols. I still have not experimented much with the actual rail, the accessory rail on the bottom. It's just not one of those pistols for me that's going to be sitting with a light on it at all. It's a little bit more of a range gun for me, so I really never had any need to actually put a light on. And I think with the weight of the pistol, that's going to be the same thing for a lot of the people that are shooting it. I've gotten pretty used to actually manipulating the slide, but some of you guys out there that are not used to the CZ75s might have a little bit of a learning curve with getting used to the fact that the slide is quite a bit thinner, so you really got to get your hands on there, and after you start getting used to it, you're going to have no issues. Those of you guys out there who saw my first impressions video on this pistol, remember I had a pretty stupid user error with these magazines. I slammed the magazine up a little bit too hard, which caused the base plate actually to fly forward, and in doing some research, I found that that's actually a pretty common, I won't even say issue, but user error with this pistol. So the magazines really aren't designed to be kind of jammed up into the gun. They're just not designed that way. You have a very thin detent here that's holding the magazine base plate in place, and you can see it has quite a bit of movement there. So with a good tap, it's actually really common for you to just throw the whole magazine base plate forward. So you don't have to baby the magazine, but also don't jam it into the gun as hard as humanly possible like I did in that video. You guys know that I have now moved to the suppressor NFA world here on the channel, and the only unfortunate thing is that with the SP01, it's not as easy as you may think to just simply buy an aftermarket barrel. In doing some research, you'll find that the aftermarket threaded barrels for the CZ75s are only about $150, so they're really not too bad, but they do generally require a gunsmith to fit them to your pistol specifically. Again, this is falling in tune to some of the nicer 1911s out there where every single part is kind of hand fit to the gun at the factory, so it's not just a drop-in fit. However, with that being said, it's really not that much of a complicated process. I would personally recommend that if you're thinking about going suppressed at all and you can find a SP01 with the threaded barrel, that would probably be the way to go because the barrel is already going to be fitted properly from the factory. One of the things that I love that CZ provides from the factory is 18 round magazines. This is awesome. It's something that you generally don't see in a lot of other manufacturers out there, that they'll send it with as much as they can possibly fit in the magazine. I know that's a huge complaint with a lot of HK pistols. That's definitely not the complaint here from CZ. The overall finish on the pistol is holding up extremely well. I actually have no scratches at all anywhere, and I have been throwing this gun around at the range and I still do not see any wear. So the finish that that CZ puts on is really awesome. Unfortunately, this gun is still one of those unicorns from CZ. So you may have somewhat of a difficult time actually tracking a CZ75 of any type down in your gun store. I'm not sure exactly why they have so many issues importing in certain pistols. Now, they still offer them at a very good price point. So although they're hard to find, you don't have to worry about prices skyrocketing and them just being impossibly expensive. That's pretty much gonna wrap this video up, guys. There's not much to say about this pistol other than positive things. If you come across one of these pistols, it's one of those things where you have to buy it if you have the money, because you're not gonna see them again. And once you buy it, you're not gonna have any regrets. If you guys have any questions at all about the CZ SP01, be sure to go ahead and put those down in the comments section, and I absolutely will get back to you. Also, head down to the description and check out the Firearm Freedom Facebook and Instagram account. On the Instagram account, I do daily posts, daily stories, and weekly live streams. We have a lot of fun there, so be sure to give those a follow. And also, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. It'll allow you to not miss out on any of the awesome content that I have coming out here on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos to come soon.